What's up, everybody? Mr. Frags here from ArmageddonGaming.com, and this is the Darksiders Apocalyptic difficulty walkthrough with all collectibles. So, in this video we have a little arena type area. Those are always the funnest. So we're going to get something in this video called a fracture cannon. And if you remember back in Anvil's Ford, where we had that gun that we were using, it's pretty much like that, except much more powerful and much more fun to use. The way the fracture cannon works is you have right trigger for your primary fire, and what that'll do, it'll fire 4 bolts at an enemy one at a time, and then left trigger your secondary fire will detonate them. So it's definitely fun to use. You use it twice in this level. The guy that has it is coming up pretty soon. It's one of these guys, except he doesn't have his axe. He has the fracture cannon. So watch out for these guys. They're pretty hard. You just saw the guy with the fracture cannon pop up in the background. So kind of concentrate fire on this guy, because once you get the fracture cannon, the other guy's going to die in one shot pretty much. Or one set of shots. After you shoot the 4 bullets that are already on the fracture cannon, you just gotta wait a second after you detonate them, and they'll recharge. So once you take this guy down, just run over to it and press B to pick it up. Gives you a little tutorial on it. And stick your crosshairs on this guy, fire 4 shots, and then detonate him with left trigger. And the sections where they have you use this cannon are about 10 minutes long each time. And they're not too long, but they're not too short either. It's just the right amount of time where you can enjoy using this without it getting old. Since this isn't really a shooter game, you wouldn't expect the controls to be that great, but they're actually excellent. The auto aim that they give you, or the aim assist, is a little too generous, and you'll see what I mean as I go through this. But once you have your reticle on someone and it turns red, you're guaranteed to hit them. There's no possible way you can miss as long as your reticule's red. So blowing these things up doesn't really do anything, but it's just fun to do while you're going and you're not fighting anybody. So there's still going to be some enemies that have these guns, so try to take them out first, because it does an incredible amount of damage to you, just like it does to them. So when something's running at you like that, if it's one of these bigger guys, just shoot 2 or 3 bolts on it and detonate it, and it'll stop him in his tracks. But if one of these smaller guys is running at you, all you have to do is hit him with the bolt. You don't even have to detonate it. So just look at, if you have 4 different enemies running at you, just try to hit each one of them with its own bolt, and then detonate them. And chances are, if they're close enough together, it'll still kill all 4 of them, because the detonation is an area of effect, and it's not just concentrated on whoever it's stuck to. So blowing up these crates gives you some souls, so take advantage of that. So make sure everything's dead, because sometimes there will be a guy or 2 left. And then just drop down, and a couple more enemies are going to spawn, but it's really no big deal. This part is probably the trickiest part of this whole area, because it's such a cramped area, and after you kill this guy, a number of enemies are going to spawn. And they'll end up coming up behind you, and they'll come up in front of you. So you're just going to be aware of your surroundings, and kind of prioritize as best as you can who's near you, so that the enemies closest to you get knocked back, and hopefully you can try to knock back some of the guys that are still further away. It's always hard to have your back turned to somebody because of the camera angle they give you. You cannot turn your back whatsoever, or you can't see behind your back whatsoever. So you'd have to do a complete 180-degree turn to be able to see who's behind you. So it's best to kind of back yourself up against the wall. From here on out, it doesn't really change. There's one part towards the end where you fight a couple bigger guys, but it's in such a wide open area where it really wouldn't hurt you. Running up this area, watch out for enemies that are going to spawn behind you once you get across this bridge and a little up the ramp. And that's about it for this video.